When principals receive word or maybe discover on the first day that they are getting a lot of new English language learner students into their building, they need to mobilize their resources, and they need to draw on any district support that's available. If there are people such as curriculum specialists or ELL coordinators, sometimes there's special funding available to support them when large numbers of ELLs will come into their building. They need to find out about the backgrounds of their students. Often, if you get a large group at once, they're from a similar background, language, or culture, and they should bring in people who can talk to all of their staff. This includes custodians, secretaries, media center people, paraprofessionals, anyone who will be working with or around the students, so that they understand the background of the students and the language abilities and what that means for their understanding. And that is just so important, because you can see, for example, if a student hasn't attended school in the United States and they're going through the lunch line and they leave their tray on the table because they don't understand that you're supposed to take it and throw it away, and a custodian comes by and thinks, what a selfish child, they're not taking care of their things. They don't understand what the student doesn't understand. So everybody needs to be part of helping the child socialize and be comfortable in the school. I would also look at getting professional development for teachers, so that they know what language needs the students will have, that they can collaborate with ESL or bilingual teachers so that they are able to support the needs of the students. Connect with community agencies that might come in and talk about the cultural needs and backgrounds of the families that are coming into the school. So basically, I'd say as a principal, you need to evaluate the child's whole needs and figure out who needs to do what and what that will look like throughout the year to provide the constant support. It's not enough to just do one-stop shopping at the beginning of the year. Okay, we had somebody come in and talk about the culture, we had somebody come in and talk about language, and now we're done. It's going to be a process where they're going to have to continue to touch base, ask teachers, what do you need, what are you seeing, what do our families need, how can we work to address that? I think the first thing I would say for teachers who are new to working with ELLs is that they should get to know the students' backgrounds, their culture and language, spend a little time. There's so many resources available. If you're looking online, take things with a grain of salt, but start to talk to people in the community, others who have worked with the population, and start to get some information. But more than anything, get to know your students. As they develop their language, ask them questions, find out what they like to do. Talk to their parents. When I was an ESL teacher, I'd have classroom teachers call me and say, could you please call this home and tell them that this child needs mittens or something like that? And I would say, well, I don't speak Cambodian, but you can call them, and I suggest you phrase it very simply or something. And the teachers would then do that. They were nervous to do it, but they would do it, and they would call me and they'd say, oh, actually they spoke English, and they understood what I wanted. So it can be very powerful for teachers to actually make that direct connection with families. If someone in the family doesn't speak English and they answer the phone, they'll usually find someone who does. Or if you give your name, they'll call back. So just trying to make that connection with families is so important. Another thing that teachers should keep in mind when they're new working with ELLs is really understanding how language affects content learning and exploring it in deeper ways and taking opportunities to learn about how to explicitly teach academic language to ELLs, going beyond teaching vocabulary that's in the book recommended for learning for the whole grade level, but looking at ways to explicitly instruct English language learners in the content concepts while also modeling the language structures that they're going to need to use it effectively. I would encourage teachers who are working with English language learners to keep trying and be good to themselves, because they're trying to do something that has never been done in the history of our nation, which is to educate first-generation English language learners to the level of the ability to go to college. In the past, it's usually taken 2 or probably 3 generations before someone was able to have the language ability and the education level to get there. So teachers are doing something really dramatic and it's hard work, and they have lots of other students in their class who need them too. So I appreciate everything that teachers do to learn about their ELLs, to try new things, to make mistakes, and to try something new again, because that's what teaching is about. We're modeling for students how to learn and that we never give up. I guess one cute story I have from in the classroom was when I was teaching a group of kindergarten students, and they were from a variety of backgrounds, Spanish speakers, Cambodian, Vietnamese, things like that. And so I was working on adjectives and descriptive words for animals, and we had done a lot of work with different kinds of animals, and it came time for them to draw their favorite animal, and then we were going to use descriptive words for them. And a little Cambodian boy was drawing this big yellow round thing that I could not figure out what he was trying to draw, and he kept saying Pikachu, Pikachu, and I thought it was a Cambodian word. I thought, oh, this is some animal in Cambodia that I'm not familiar with. And then about 6 months later, I somehow discovered the Pokemon. And I realized then what he had actually been drawing. So maybe the animal concept was a little lost on him, but he did describe it as yellow and round. So in the end, it was successful.
Major funding for Colorín Colorado is provided by the American Federation of Teachers, with additional support from the United States Department of Education, Office of Special Education Programs. For more information about teaching ELLs, please visit us at www.colorincolorado.org.